Hi, Steve Slack here, and welcome to part 3 of my RSS tutorial for Sense. Anyone who's been watching the rest of the tutorials will see that I've added a button here. I'm just going to quickly show you how to do a clear RSS button, which will clear any RSS feed. So without further ado, let's jump in. Okay, you can see things are pretty much as they were last time, and we've had this button added here. And inside here I've put broadcast clear RSS and wait. So if we go to our stage again and go to our control and when I receive clear RSS, remember what we need to do first. To do this we need to actually bring the feed in. So we're going to load the RSS and we need to load it from feed name. That brings the RSS into memory, and the next thing we need to do is we need to step through the RSS to delete each item. So we go to the RSS. So we create a repeat loop, and we need to loop through the repeat loop the number of RSS items, so it starts at one item and goes to the rest. In order to make sure we delete the right item or we get the right information, we're going to need to use a variable. I've created this variable called count. We set the count to 1 before we start the loop, and once we're in the loop we change count by 1, which means that it's going to start at number 1 and then go to number 2, etc, etc. The next thing we need to do is we need to set our feed thus. Okay, so if you remember, what we have to do to delete part of a feed is to send the title that it currently has with a blank description. So let's do that first. Let's blank out a description. Remember, no space in there and anything. We're going to tell it what feed we need. We're going to duplicate feed name, put that in there. So the only thing we need to change then is the title. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to grab the title of RSS item. You can see it tells it that we want item number 1. But we're using a variable called count. So if we go to our variable, drag our count into there, what this is going to do is loop through once for each item. When it gets to that item, it's going to take the RSS feed name which it's already got, includes the title of the current count item, and contain it as 0. As you can see, we then change the count by 1, which takes us back up to there and goes through again. So very quickly, I'm just going to check that this works. If we go back to our page, remember that we had this stuff in here. We'll just refresh to make sure that it's still there. Yep. So let's put that away. And we click our clear RSS feed. You'll see that that lights up. When it switches off, it's finished its job. We go to our browser, refresh, and you'll see that it's all empty. So that's basically how to delete any feed. It just takes the feed that you're asking it about, any of the feeds in the OU that is, and then it sends a title with a blank description, therefore taking that part out of the feed. Okay. So the other thing we want to do now is we want to be able to show our chat room. So in order to do that, we're going to make a variable, and I want to call it something really silly. There you go, I've called it press T to chat. You'll see why shortly. Okay, and that one appears in here. We're going to double click on that. I'm going to change it into the large variable like that. Okay, and we're going to set it at the start. When we receive it in startup, we're going to set it to a blank. So set press T to chat to a blank, not a 0. And then when that runs, that 0 won't appear in there. Okay, so what we need to do now is need to find a way to bring our RSS feed into here. We've already done part of the work. If we look here at when I receive clear RSS, we've got a repeat number of RSS items and a count which will reference each item. All we need to do is change what we actually do with that information. So I'm going to duplicate this whole block even, move it down here, scroll down so we can see it more completely. Okay, I'm going to change this to a new. I'm going to say whole chat server. I'm going to say OK. So when we get whole chat server, we're going to load the feed as usual, as we have previously. We're going to set the count to 1. We're going to repeat the number of RSS items, and then all we're going to do then is, rather than use this set feed, we're going to take that away. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is drag Press T to Chat into here, so it's available to us to use. I'm going to set Press T to Chat. The first thing we're going to do is set it to blank, and then we're going to set Press T to Chat in here as well. I'm going to drop this out a second while I duplicate this. We're going to do 2 lines in the T to Chat from each item in the serve. I'm going to set it and append it. So we're going to need 2 appends for each line. So let's drag those in. There's one. Duplicate, add it to there. Duplicate, put that there. Put that there. Okay. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take the current value of Press T to Chat and add more to it. So if we do that there, see, and duplicate that, what we're saying is whatever's in Press T to Chat at the moment, we're going to add this to it. And then basically what we're going to add for the first part is we're going to add the title of the item, which we're going to duplicate, put there. I'm just going to move this aside 1 second so you can see what we're doing. Okay, so the title of an item from the RSS feed, but we want it to be item count. Remember how we did that before when we counted each one? So we just take our count, we put it there, duplicate it, and put it there. For anyone who doesn't know, to duplicate a block, just right click it and that little menu appears under it. Now the reason I've got an extra append here is if we just duplicate it like this, what we're actually going to find is that there's going to be a whole string with no breaks in it. So Sense does support some HTML, and in this instance, in this text block, we're going to include break, which is BR in HTML language, like that. So what that's going to do is going to import first the title, break it, then the description, and break that. It's going to be imported into Press T to Chat, which we've got displayed here. So if we bring this back across, like so, and just check what we've got in our, go back, and we're just going to see if we can get those feeds reflected in when we poll the server. Running that, and as you can see, we've got the date, the name has come online, test chat 1, test chat 2. And set it to Steve again. Okay, that's going to do our has come online, and we're going to add a bit of text to. If you notice, this has gone blank because when we change our username, the chat set to blank. I'm just going to say, here we go. Okay, now if we pull the chat server, you'll see that we have Steve again has come online, and here we go. So all we need to do to make that work as an actual chat system is to do a refresh on the server. So in order to do that, when I receive startup, there, we're just going to add a little loop to the end of that. This is going to loop forever, and we're going to broadcast chat server, which is the stuff we've got further down, and we're just going to add a little break in there so it's not doing it all the time, otherwise we'd never get anything done. Okay, so now we set our username. I'm going to set it to Steve. Okay, and when it polls the chat server, it there says Steve has come online. So T, new text. Okay, and there we have new text. So as you can see, we now have a chat server, and if we change our username, you'll be able to see who else is chatting on there. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it's quite clear. Any questions, drop it in the comments below. Thank you very much, and see you soon. Bye.